What's going on, everybody? My name is David Greenspan, as you know, and I am the host of the Mindshare podcast. I want to officially welcome you to season 5. Now, our first episode released last week, and looking ahead, we've got a very, very exciting lineup of shows coming up. We're going to help you go next level this year. So I'm going to warn you right now. I'm going to encourage you right now. Buckle up and stay tuned because it is going to be one loaded season. We've also got some new sponsors with us this year who've jumped on board with us. And this list includes Gray Media, who many of you heard of, Ontario's premier social media management, marketing, and content creation company. REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. And of course, Kits Keep in Touch Systems, a 2-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. Be sure to check out our sponsors and everything that they've got to offer by going to my website, mindshare101.com. Now, as we embark on season 5 of this show, I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for continuing to tune in. And I want to share with you that because of you, we finished the 2022 season ranked number 26 on iTunes for marketing podcast. Come on. That is cool. Like, I am so grateful for every single one of you tuning in. I thank you. If you're a brand new listener, thank you for being here. If you're an ongoing listener, I love you. Thank you. But I do want to say, hey, if you haven't done this yet, please, your reviews, your ratings, your feedback, your engagement means the world to me. And as we embark on our little journey of sort of getting to, all these reviews on iTunes, I want to ask you if you could take a quick moment to go to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101 and leave us a nice little review of the show. Tell us how much you love it. And hey, just as an added bonus, not only will you make us smile, but your name is going to be entered into a draw to win some free Mindshare 101 swag. So definitely check that out. Again, that's ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Now, just before we get into the show, right now is that time of year that most people are going to fall off the wagon of working towards their goals. And for those who don't, the rest of them are going to fall off by mid-February. We're talking over 80% of people are going to fall off by mid-February. So figure this, by the middle of the year, like 90% aren't even working towards anything anymore. They're just doing. And that means that only about 10% of you are actually going to succeed. So which group do you want to be part of? You want to be part of that 90% who fail, or that 10% who absolutely crush it this year, who absolutely take it to that next level? Look, I'm sure it goes without saying, but I also know that you're having some serious doubts about everything else because it's hard to make changes. It's hard to change habits. It's hard to work towards what we want. In either case, this is where I come in. As your coach, I'm going to help keep you on track. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to help you achieve everything that you want in life, both business and personal. We're going to put together a completely custom tailored plan based on who you are, how you work, how you live. And we're going to ensure that the things you want, they're going to happen this year. So whether you're new or you're a veteran in this business, our one-to-one coaching program is your answer to exceed or to achieve that success that you're looking for in 2023. Inquire with us today. Go to mindshare101.com, click on coaching up at the top, and one of our Mindshare experience coordinators will be in touch with you within the hour. Today's episode is number 213. They've been in the real estate industry since 2009. Strong negotiators and an expert in their field, their standard of excellence has led to a growing list of satisfied clients, and they remain fiercely focused on completing honest and fair deals. They, alongside their team, have been top producers in the industry year after year, and they are always striving to give clients the best experience possible through exceptional service and open communication. They are actively involved in their community, including supporting the Halton Women's Place and various other charities. And they've been voted as #1 broker in Burlington by the Burlington Post Reader's Choice Awards in both 2021 and 2022. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast are Greg Kuchma, broker and team lead of the Kuchma Team, and his amazing wife, Dareen Kuchma, sales representative and team marketing manager. Greg, Dareen, welcome to the Mindshare podcast.
Hi, David. We're happy to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Yeah.
We're blushing.
Yeah, we're blushing.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys.
So it's really nice.
It's good. It's good. We're gonna have some fun today. You know what? There's an awesome story, and as we've gotten to know each other over the past number of months, I've been able to be alongside that journey that you guys are having to get to number one. And I think you guys have a wealth of knowledge and a lot of great stuff that you're going to be able to share with our audience today. And I mean, like to that, I'm just going to jump right into it. And I want to ask you guys, because we've been through some crazy times over the past few years, right? And I might say like the past two, but I'd say even 2022, I'll lump in like the past three now, 21 or 20, 21, 22. There've been some crazy years in real estate, lots of ups and downs. What would you guys say is the biggest positive change that you've seen in the way real estate is done today versus back in 2009 when you first started in the business?
That's a good one.
I'm a big fan of the ability for the electronic signature, and I think the technology piece has made it a lot simpler to do what we want to do. That would probably be the biggest in terms of start to finish 2009 to today.
Yeah.
That would probably be the most drastic difference in the day-to-day ability to transact, for sure.
Speeds things up, I guess.
I think so too, but in the same breath as, all this new technology I feel like we've lost a little bit of that connection and community with seeing a lot of the other realtors, because we used to do a lot of things face to face. I remember, and it's funny saying these things now because I feel like we're still pretty young in the industry. But like when I talk to the rest of the team who hasn't experienced 2009, I sound archaic when I say, we used to all stand outside of a house and with our papers and our clients in the car, and we used to hang
bring 4 copies of everything.
And then go meet and present our offer, then come back to our client and sign it, and there would be other realtors there with their offers, and that was really fun. Efficient wise, I don't know if it was efficient. It was fun. But yeah, electronic signatures and definitely the electronic part of the industry has come a long way since 2009 for sure. And
I love what you brought up there though, because I'm with you. I think that it expedites the process. Yeah. It certainly makes it, more time efficient. But Dareen, you bring up a great point. Like we almost miss that human to human connection now at some pivotal parts of the transaction.
Certainly, even with the client, because now we used to also sit in front of the client and go through clause by clause and really have to know that paperwork inside out and backwards, because you had to be able to answer all those questions. And now I find, again, everyone's doing it, especially it took off during COVID, is that you send it electronically and they have to they sign it then, and we're certainly getting questions back and forth, but it's not the same experience as that.
Not at all.
Interesting. It's funny because I was going to ask you what's the worst thing that's happened to this industry since you got in, and I'm almost thinking
it's the same.
There's a double-edged sword there, right?
It could be both. I would say definitely that, and then I'd say I feel like the industry itself has become more professional.
Yeah, for sure.
More structured.
Feels like there's a little bit higher level of service available to people across the board.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, for sure it is.
Yeah, I would say definitely makes the people that are working hard are getting recognized versus having the industry be inflated with a lot of people that maybe perhaps are doing it part-time. So I would say, in those years, I feel like we are seeing much less part-time realtors versus, fully serious professional. This is, making it a proper job, really, which it is.
It's funny as you say that, the things that cross my mind as I ask that question, worst thing to happen, even though we say double-edged sword with the technology, I think the worst thing to happen, talk about the worst thing to happen. I think it was the worst thing to happen to the world. But when we talk about the pandemic over 2 years, right? It's almost like I look at that and look at the industry and I think the way it overinflated prices, the way we saw people buying and selling, and like the expectations that people had, the pace at which things were moving, the success that many people in this industry had, even though, oh, this sounds so horrible if I say this the wrong way, but like, please, whoever's listening, just interpret this the right way. Like the people that didn't deserve it, if you call that,
Yep.
right? Like they come in, they'd be like, I've got a license, but I know I don't work hard for anything, but I was able to do it because of a proper market.
Yes.
Put those types of individuals into a normal market and then say, okay, go survive now.
Good luck.
Right?
Yeah.
Good luck. And so I think, I guess, again, a double-edged sword, right? You sort of go, it was probably a bad thing for obviously all of that stuff to happen, but then a bad thing for the way it overinflated the market, but probably a good thing is I think we're going to see a lot of people who are getting the sticker shock right now going, that's it. I got to go find something else to do because, wow, this actually is running a real business.
Yeah. And I think if there's a year that's going to test a lot of those types of individuals,
2023.
it's going to be this year. The way it's being forecasted. I mean, we try and we think differently because we are realtors. So
Gonna be our best. Gonna be our best
positively,
year yet.
This is going to be our best year yet.
Yeah, you know it is, right?
Yeah, if we're maybe just listening to what some of the media is saying, it's being forecasted that perhaps it might be one of the worst years in real estate.
Less volume is the key. So we want to make sure that that we're doing all the things that we've always done. So the people that have been loyal to us will continue to do so.
And tell me that, like, as we talk about, first off, do you think we're in a bad market?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think we're closer to a balanced market than what we've seen in a long time. But I think this is a much healthier market to be in for sure.
What do you say when a client says to you, like, let's say you're doing your follow-ups, you're connecting with people, or somebody that you were speaking to, maybe, let's say back in August, who was maybe a little bit hot to do something and said, maybe we're going to look at it in the new year. And now the response becomes, I think I'm just going to wait. What do you say to somebody who says they're just going to wait?
I've never heard that before. Someone saying they're going to wait in this market.
No, it's like where are they going, right? It's all relative is usually how I tie things back. But if they're ready to downsize hypothetically, then, what has changed that you're no longer ready to downsize? Because yes, your house might have sold for more this time last year, but the place you're downsizing to, is in the same kind of situation. It would have been previously that we gotta find where you're going before you're crazy enough to list your house, and now it's kind of the opposite. Maybe we'll buy a conditional on sale, or maybe we'll encourage you to sell, so you know exactly, equity wise where you're going to land.
So, like, I mean, we brought up the headlines, right? And we talk about this year being a very different market. I love the mindset of like, we're still going to have our best year ever. And we certainly are.
Hands down.
Yes.
Like, it's going to happen. It's
happen.
The question is that if somebody's saying like, I want to wait, and we're saying, Greg, from what I understand from what you just said there, it's almost like digging for that need.
For sure.
To really figure out what was the real motivation to even explore this to begin with. And then to see, like, has that changed?
Yes.
Right? Because, I mean, look, we can't put more money in people's pockets.
Right.
They've got the money they've got the ability to pay X amount of dollars in a month. But I think that there's so much, there's such a misconstrued message coming through from the media right now. And we've talked about, and I continue to try to say to everybody, and to everybody too, Dan, like, communicate to educate.
Yes.
Right. You've got to dig for the need. You've got to figure out, why, when, where, find their motivation. But then as you're speaking to them, remember too, that if the conduit of information that they're receiving is only through the media, then they're getting the negative tone. Whereas if we can come back and say, look, they write stories. We live and breathe this business.
Yeah.
Here's what we have to say. Here's what our view is, or what questions do you have, and start to answer that from a different, sort of a different mindset that you guys will have versus what the media has. We're not writing headlines.
Right.
We're trying to move people into their dream homes.
Well, and that's it. It just, getting into the core reasons. Why is this happening? But also, it comes back to, and we say this often, like, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. We know now, what you're looking for and what we can sell your home for in 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. I can't tell you if, your house price is going to increase? Is it decreasing? Is, interest rates going to rise again? Is it truly going to rise again? It's hard, right? And I think a lot of people or a lot of clients or, people expect realtors to know these answers. So it has to come down to your specific need and thinking about what you want versus what, like you said, the stories that are being told.
Absolutely. Right. Like we've got to clarify for people. We got to, again, it comes back to communication, right? Yeah. So, let me ask you this. We talk about having success this year, and personally, I know the success you guys have already had and achieved, and we're going for new heights, right? And oftentimes, and everybody tuned in right now has really got that similar mindset, right? I'm going to have a great year this year. And whether people, and as you're tuned in right now, like whether you're struggling right now to figure out how to do that, or you've got a good plan for that, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what it takes. And there's a lot of different ways that you'll hear from companies, coaches, trainers, marketing companies, service providers, your brokers, whoever, do this to have success. You guys have achieved some good numbers, like some really awesome stuff. What would you say, and I got to word this right, what would you say is the biggest farce, the biggest fallacy, piece of BS advice, okay, that you hear about achieving success in this industry?
Just one, the biggest.
Oh, there's so many.
It's just one.
Honestly, for me, and it's been like this for a long time, but there's a lot of noise everywhere. There's a lot of suggestions, and there's a lot of throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks kind of approaches, which ends up being a very expensive way to run a business, and one that's not nearly as enjoyable as just sticking to what you actually enjoy and doing things that are true to the way you like to do things. And that doesn't really answer what the biggest, piece of the BS is, but everyone runs their business differently, right? So for the, the client perspective, if they see you on a billboard or on a bus, does that mean you're a higher quality agent than the next person? That was a big one for us kind of along the way. I've promised all of my clients that I've always wanted to be. I never wanted to grow a large business. The problem that I ran into is as our business grew, I can't increase my commission rates because I don't want to. I want the business to grow, but I can only service so many clients. So I would say the biggest thing for me was just being very cautious of how we're investing in our business and making sure that whatever decision we're making stays true to what we enjoy doing, right? I've never been big on a lot of the technology pieces, right? To this day, I still carry an old school folder for each of my clients because that's what works for me. It took me a long time to get out of Excel and into a real database, but small tweaks for sure, I would say. But there's just for someone looking on, what to invest in. There's a whole lot of wrong answers, but you got to find something small that works for you, and you got to just run with it. Is hopefully the best advice that I could give as far as what works for us.
Yeah, I think too, to your point, Greg, I think over the years, and we have, spoken with coaches, maybe not to this extent with you, but Greg has definitely been accused of starving our business, as in not spending the money on the marketing. And I think, like Greg said, there's a lot of noise out there. There's you can do Instagram ads, and then you can buy leads, and then you can go on this software, and there's just so much. Get all the stuff with your name on it, put the billboard up, and none of that really is going to drive the business if you're not focusing on the client experience. And I think that if you just narrow it down to exactly what
the client feels,
what the business is, it is a business. It's a client experience business, and that's where the focus should be. The billboard, the signs, the swag, maybe later, but to start, I think you just have to focus on the very, very simple thing of I'm here to help you in this real estate transaction.
And this is more than just a business, right?
Very much, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's we've talked about it before that this is kind of real estate's like a lifestyle because there's no beginning and there's no end, and it's a relationship business, and it's you're forming relationships everywhere you go, every conversation you have, and that's really what grows the business. Truly, is that.
You know, I really.
How was that non-answer, David?
No. You got to understand something though. You guys, I think you guys hit the tail on a donkey kind of thing, right? Being in the industry as long as I've been in it, and I know for the amount of times that I've spoken to, especially brand new agents or that agent who, or that group of agents that wants to go to that next step, right? Oftentimes, what was told in the past was go pick a farm area and start farming.
Mm-hmm.
These days, what happens is they say, go, run digital ads, right? So they get away almost from the farm area and they go digital ads. And I want to, and I think I heard that from on both sides there, like, the reluctance to maybe step into the technology immediately. The importance of, really understanding your market and understand the people and the client experience that you just mentioned, Dareen. These things are huge.
Yeah.
And as you're saying it, it's like it's hitting me because I'm going, yeah, it's a relationship business, Yet here we are going, what can I spend more money on to go get myself on a billboard or go hand out more swag? So everybody goes, oh yeah. But I think oftentimes we don't realize like nobody cares.
No.
Correct.
And the people that do care, and I guess saying nobody, I should put like in quotes, because like the nobody is the people that doesn't know you.
Mm-hmm.
The people you haven't connected with, you haven't tried to build a relationship with. The people who do care are the people in your database, the clients you just mentioned, Dareen. Right. And those people at that point, yeah, could you connect on social? Sure. But is that the best way to communicate with them? No. Go get together. Go talk to them on the phone, right? Meet in person. So, I mean, for me, I think one of these things that when we look at the industry, there's a lot of that where it's like, you got to spend a lot of money. You got to put yourself on some like your own pedestal, even before you've earned any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of pomp and circumstance. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do. And Greg, there was an answer there because I do love what you had to say. Like there's a lot more blunt focus to understand who's your client and make sure that experience is number one.
For sure.
Right. And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like what was, and maybe you just answered it, but like the trick to creating such memorable client experiences. Like, and I know how you guys operate, that whole thing with like, they become friends and all that stuff. But I mean, how are you creating more of those experiences? What are some of those keys maybe, or some of those daily IPs, like those daily routines, like, to get people that want to refer you more, want to use you again next time, the communication.
Yeah. For me, it ties back to specifically what you're preaching and what your whole business model surrounds, which is keeping us front of mind for our clients, bringing value to them wherever we can, but reminding them every chance we get, hey, if your furnace breaks down and you need an HVAC company, then call me. Like if something goes wrong with your whatever's at home that has nothing to do with real estate, or you need a professional in whatever trade you need or whatever opinion you need, remember that I'm here and I've been in my marketplace my whole life, and we've been down the road that you're going down in a lot of different cases. So hopefully, where I've messed up, I can help guide you not to do the same thing, or to watch out for this company, or to make sure you call that company. That piece was a big value add for me. So the regular knowing that clients will call me for everything that they can think of that's not real estate related is a big piece of that kind of trust and relationship, and knowing that I have time to speak to them and I'll listen to what they have to say. Knowing that when they are my clients and I'm actively working with them, they're going to feel like I only have one client. They're not going to feel like I'm desperate to get the transaction finished, but they're going to feel like I truly care, because I do. And they're going to feel like, I wish that I could do this process more often, because I really love spending time with Greg and he does a great job. And I feel like he, is doing what I need him to do, and he's looking out for my best interest.
Yeah, I think that above and beyond, experience.
Sure. You guys, again, not to go specifics, but you guys write a lot of business. And the fact that you've got a mindset that says every single client is going to believe that they are like the only client,
Yeah.
that is huge.
Yeah.
Like you know how much I love that part.
Yeah.
And I want to really emphasize that to everybody tuned in. Like, understand that, right?
Yeah.
People, look, I remember years ago scrolling through a Facebook group, and a client of mine actually had posted this, and I was like dumbfounded. I'm like, no, no. And she went off about the fact that like her clients had called her to ask her like which color of paint she preferred for their walls. She's like, I don't have time for this stuff. Why are they bothering me with this stuff? Yada yada. I'm thinking, oh, wait a second. They want to put paint on their walls in their home that they live, and they need your opinion. I'd say that's value.
That's great stuff.
Huge.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Huge.
Look, that puts you into what we call trusted advisor status.
For sure.
Yeah.
And in the sales cycle, you know, we've got the two peaks, right? And the second peak is much higher. And the top of those two peaks, the top one is trusted advisor.
Yeah.
And so I always say to people, if somebody calls you up and they're like, hey, listen, I'm just in your neighborhood. I'm so sorry to bother you, but like I'm starving. I need to grab a burger. Where's the best place you recommend? Take that call. Like that's
Absolutely.
a good call,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
we have to take all the calls.
Yeah.
And we always joke around that we're not just a realtor. You know, you end up getting yourself in all kinds of situations. I feel like when we're in this industry,
Or marriage counselors, or therapists,
you're consultants.
Yeah.
You know, it could be something that has absolutely nothing to do with you or real estate, and you get roped in. And I mean, that is the goal. That is the goal, like you said.
So it's
more headspace, more mindshare, more ability for people to remember us for a variety of different reasons.
And there it is. I mean, if you do something good for somebody, when you do it good, do they tell somebody?
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Sure.
Yeah, those people are good. Perfect. This is positive mindshare.
Yes.
So is most of your business then from people that you know, people that you don't know? And what would you tell anybody tuned in about the importance of like really having a strong, organized contact list?
now that we're where we're sitting, it's one of those, you know, I wish I did it earlier situations.
Okay.
It was one of those changes that I resisted making, but like once the change happened, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's very easy to track everything now. It's very easy to see where all the business comes from, and then at the end of each year, when we look back and we realize, you know, how much business is stemming from our immediate, you know, contact list, and the business is just driven from that source primarily. You know, our business does not grow from anyone other than someone that we've transacted with, or someone that they knew. The referral piece for us is huge. We're trying to actually grow the other side of the business, just because we feel like we've done such a good job on column A, but we maybe have not been focused on column B, and we know there's an opportunity there to start focusing on that as well.
And it's very flattering that, you know, people, we find like a lot of our clients, we end up like servicing an entire family. So we start maybe with the parents that are downsizing from their family home. Next thing you know, we're helping the children with their maybe first home, second home,
children's sister-in-law.
And then we get it's like a family business. It is a family business, our business.
For sure.
And we always like say, like, you know, that saying, it's not personal, it's business. It's not true. Not this business. This is a personal business. There's nothing more personal than being in your home. There's nothing more personal than helping you transition in your life, whether it's selling your family home, buying your first home, selling your home and going into care. There's so many different situations. And like we find like we're almost multi-generational family referrals, and it's amazing.
Early days, like when I was just coming out of essentially university, getting licensed. The first few transactions are your close friends trying to, you know, rent or buy their first condominium, but mom and dad are kind of in tow, tagging along, overseeing the process, and then eventually mom and dad see how everything unfolds, and mom and dad are calling you, and mom and dad are calling you again to help their mom and dad with their downsize. So yeah, absolutely, it's a very organic growth for sure, and that's been I think why we're most fortunate that the business grown to the level that it has, just by doing what we say we're going to do, and making sure that people do enjoy that process as it kind of unwinds.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of, as you know, the term IPAs, daily IPAs, the income producing activities, how much emphasis is put on connecting with these folks sort of in a day? And obviously we're not going to connect with everybody in a day, but when we look at maybe the daily, like the DMO, the daily method of operation, writing deals. And again, there's a lot that going on there. Is there a lot of emphasis on connecting with the clients and making sure that you're just maintaining those open communications?
Absolutely. And it's something that I have struggled with for sure over the years. And it's a structure that I'm being more conscious of, because we do have, a larger team at this stage, and a little bit more structure in my day is what I'm working towards, which has been hugely beneficial to me. But that is exactly where my time and energy is focused. So most recently, it's just been our administrator will hand me a list of calls that I'm to make, and I figured out a system that works for me to make sure that the calls happen. And
Someone, I don't know who, get on this.
Yeah, it's good. It sounds like it's working. It sounds like it's working.
Manner. I don't know who.
David has not only got the horse to water, but the horse is drinking.
So here we talk about, obviously, the side of the business that obviously runs the business, like when we talk contactless, right? But I also want to really bring this up, because reading through the bio and again understanding this stuff from you guys, you do spend a lot of time with the community as well. And although we're not going after physically saying like, hey, we're selling to you, or here we are on a billboard or whatnot, there's a lot of community involvement. And I guess the question there becomes, why do you spend so much time being involved in the community, and how has giving back helped you guys have success?
I think it comes down to doing what makes you happy and doing the things you like to do. And Greg and I are both, I would say, if you asked our friends, are pretty social people. We like to go out and see people. We like to be involved. We like to be in the know. And I think all of those things are, if you were good, how did that help us grow our business? That's part of it, just knowing people and making those connections. And then we like to have little events in our community because we like to see everyone. And I think the drive of like wanting to see everyone and connect, we're like, okay, let's have an event. We love it. We have a great time. We leave the event saying, oh, I should talk to that person more. We should have another event. One thing leads to the other, and it all becomes this trickle effect of connecting more with people. The charities we support, we've been doing the Halton Women's Place Gala probably for 10 years. Yeah. Sponsoring that gala, and it just feels good to us. And I think doing the things that feel good to you, just taking it back to basics and your core beliefs, motivates you to do even more, right? You do one thing and you want to help out more for a certain charity, pushes you to grow your business, because that's part of the reason of, why. The why. Part of it goes back to the why. Yeah. Exactly. And it's funny because like you get a high from it, which motivates you to even do more. And then it's just like a cycle. I work hard. I'm able to support the things and do the things that are important to me in my core belief system. And that gives me a high to continue doing more. And it just trickles into this big thing.
Would you say that's a lead generation channel? Is that your mindset around it, or is it more just we want to be involved, we want to help?
I think we want to be involved and we want to help more. So
it stems from the like, what do I enjoy doing and what makes me feel good?
Yeah.
And the fact that the business ends up being a lead source is kind of like the cherry on top. That's the gravy that you don't need it, and you're not doing it for that reason. But ultimately, yeah, it kind of comes full circle, and then it's not anything that it's shocking at how much of a lead source everything like this can end up being. But that was never the original intention. No,
I think the intention for us is you grow up a certain way, and maybe for Greg and myself, we didn't grow up a life of luxury.
Correct.
And we feel, I think, so fortunate to be where we are today. And
it's our community that we have to thank for that, right?
Exactly. It's our community. We also, you learn, like, throughout your life, you can't wait to get to where you are because you want to do these things.
Sure.
We talk often about how fortunate we are to be in the position that we're in, how fortunate we are to have grown. And I mean, it's not fortunate. We've worked really hard to get to where we are, but sometimes we can't believe how far we've come in the business from, 2009 and where we started, and when it was just Greg and myself doing everything, to, having a team of 6 people, and it's exciting, but it's also sometimes shocking for us. We're like, wait, how did this happen?
You see, I mean, listening to the story, looking at where does business come from, looking at what we're doing in that journey to become number one, looking at the fact that you guys are so super focused on your contact list, and you're focused on not marketing to the community, but being involved in the community.
Yeah.
It says to me that the heart, the mind is in the right place around what you do and how you do it. And I do believe, and I know there's going to be some people rolling their eyes right now being like, woo woo, whatever. But like, when you do good, like, good should come back. And it's not that you should do good to get good.
It's karma. Yeah.
It's karma. It's the way the universe works, right? Like, if you do that, you should be able to get something back out of it. And again, we're not doing it to get something back.
No, but yeah.
Yet there's the magic.
Yeah.
Right. There's the magic. And so now when we talk about generating opportunities, it's about do good for people. When we talk about, call it converting opportunities, you got to build up some relationships, some rapport, but do good for people. And I think when you do good for people, good things happen. Karma, right? Now, Dareen, you just mentioned the team.
Yes.
How did you guys know it was time to start a team? And what would be one piece of advice that you would offer up to anybody thinking about doing the same? Because a lot of people out there enamored, like, I'm going to start a team, and you're like, why? And they don't really have a reason why, and then they don't have direction, and it doesn't really work out the right way.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons, I mean, Greg and I, we did it for a while without anyone else, probably like 5 years, I'd say. No, less, maybe 4 years of just the two of us doing everything.
Yeah.
And I think the balance was becoming off, and we were, getting ready to start our family, and we felt like we couldn't sustain it the way it was. And again, back to our, how we grew the business is seeing everyone and making all these conversations, and there was just not enough time in the day, especially when there was becoming more things administratively that needed to happen. And what Greg's focus should be is, when you talk about the IPAs, like, just producing the business. And I think that's when we really decided, like, it was time. It was probably, we pushed it longer than we needed to. I think you would say that.
Each step along the way, we were always only doing it once we knew that we absolutely had to. We didn't do it too early. If anything, we waited too late, and the regret was, why didn't we do this sooner? But it just made sure that we knew it was the right answer, right? So when we felt the balance going, and we felt that there's too many things that were starting to slip or should have been done, or we were just, needing to do something and didn't feel like doing it because we'd done enough. That was kind of, for us, the indication. I joke, but when I first got into the industry, before Dareen joined with me, I should say, I didn't have a functioning printer at my house. I always forced myself to be at the office to work, and that's where I was going to chat with people and learn and get the experience piece. And then, as Dareen got in and brought her marketing expertise, she kind of helped formalize things, and we got an actual website, and I got away from Excel and all those wonderful things. That kind of is where the team was born, I would say. But we were fortunate because we had each other as far as our first partners in the business, which is obviously a nice solid foundation, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's So much of what we're talking about here is so much of just like hard work and effort in
Yeah.
building this business and true care.
Mm-hmm.
And we opened up and I sort of said to you, what's changed since '09, and we brought up the signatures, and that kind of led to a little bit of the technology conversation. And throughout this, the underlying theme here is really building relationships with people, right? And being out there and doing the things that need to be done to really have success. And I mean, most of us know what that is. Like, it's hard work at the end of the day. Yet much the same when I ask the question about lead gen, or I ask the question about some of the, fallacies around how you have success in this industry. We look at some of the technology that's out there, which again has been, maybe, I don't want to call it slow adopter, but like, notice I've still got a pen and paper here, right? Like, I'm still taking even notes as we're talking, even though we've got, right. You know what I mean? So it's like, but
If it'll be a BlackBerry, it might be.
there's that common misconception, though, that to win in this game, to get to that next level, to go to number one, you've got to have the videos going out on a regular basis. You've got to be like social media present at all times. You've got to have the big fancy website, like the lead gen systems.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously watch your social media on a regular, and I know that there's a business account. More so, I love following the personal account. Like, I love it. I think you guys you do have fun. You are people. You like to be out, but you're, with the kids doing things, with the friends doing things. And it's that part of it, to me, is what engages me even more in your social. And I know for me as well, like, we put out a lot of content, right? As part of like Mindshare 101, right? And a lot of it's value add educational, but the stuff that gets traction are the birthdays and the family stuff and all that stuff. Like, do you guys think, or maybe like, you're proof in the pudding, I don't know how to say that better, is social media like the be all and end all of a real estate business?
No.
Doreen had to force me into the social media world as far as the business component, because it was one of those, like, and that was what probably why one of the hardest answers for me, in terms of what's changed in the industry. Like, my approach to the business and the remembering that you got a person on the other side of the table, that has never needed to change. I've been able to run our business with each transaction very similarly, without getting distracted by all the outside distractions that are readily available, from a business standpoint, to make major changes. Until something's not broken, why are we trying to fix it, is kind of always been where I've been with adopting, major changes to the business, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
So you guys are out there kicking ass. You guys are writing a ton of business, and you're sitting here telling me that social media is not the be all and end all of your business.
I think it validates the business. I think it's important to have, for sure. Also, it's cheap. It's free.
David's trying to start a debate right now.
Well,
no. What I'm actually trying to prove a point here with everyone.
I know.
Yeah, I think
like
social, 100%. One of the simplest things starting off you should be able to do is create business, social media accounts to promote who you are as a person and to promote your business. One, they're free. Two, you can, put out so much content. I think it's important for it to validate the business, so that I find now we're in, the day and age where as soon as you hear about a restaurant, as soon as you hear about something, one of the first things you do is go online and look at the Instagram account. If I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going to look at all the pictures of the food and the ambiance. If I'm Googling, or if I'm looking at a hotel, I go on their Instagram to see what people have posted about it. So I think, yes, it's important to have it, but do I find that our social media account is what is generating leads to make our business continue growing? No.
That's where I was going. No debate on that. That's exactly where I was trying to go to.
Yeah,
Greg,
maybe for some people.
I love what you just said, Dareen. Like, it's a validator.
Yes.
And I would argue the same thing. Like, people are going to go to your social before they go to your website. You want to check out the restaurant, we're going to check the ambiance. You're bang on. So it is very similar for any business.
Yes.
We will go to your social account to check you out. So we should have consistency. We should have presence.
Yes.
But again, where I'm trying to go with it very much is to say, like, if social wasn't there, would we still be achieving our success?
Absolutely.
Yes. I think
absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of our business, they follow our social, which is nice, and they comment, and I find they support us there with the commenting and always being happy for the things we do. But the core of the business is really just being a good person. Really, if we took it really down to what is the business, it's being a good human. And doing what you promise. You know, if you tell someone you're going to do something for them, you do it. And your big thing was always, what was it? Over promise and
Oh yeah.
or no, sorry. Over deliver.
Yes.
Under promise and over deliver.
For sure.
Yeah.
Seems to bode well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 6 months ago, you guys decided it was time to hire a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And at the time, without getting too specific, okay, there was something that you were struggling with, or there was something you were trying to figure out. There was something that you were looking for help with.
Absolutely.
What made you have that realization in your mind that, hey, we're having this challenge and we should probably seek out some assistance as opposed to just continue to look at the person in the mirror to solve it?
Yeah, it's the same reason that people will look to us because we're experts. You know, you're an expert at what you do. We are at a major crossroads and lots of big changes happening from a business standpoint. And we wanted to make sure that we were making those decisions that made the most sense without having, to fear making the wrong decision when it could have changed so much for us. So the guidance that you've been able to provide and allowing us to know confidently that we're doing things in the right order, that the way that we should be doing as we're bringing our business to the next level, it's invaluable. Like we couldn't put a price on that investment. No.
So you just brought up a really big word. And this is one of the big motivators that everybody has in life. Fear.
Yeah.
Anytime we're about to make a decision on almost anything, especially when it comes to business and like spending money and an unknown, and recognizing that, hey, you're not about to get like a box from Amazon shipped to you where you can go, do I like it or not? I'm going to return it. You're taking a step to say, hey, we realize there's something there. We really want to go to our next level. And I mean, the levels you guys have hit already are spectacular. I tell you guys that often. We want to get to that next level. There's maybe a doubt, maybe a fear about doing that. How did you get past that part of it to say, we've got to do this. We're going to do it? Because maybe you were thinking about it for a year, 2 years, 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But how did you get past the fear part of it to finally go like, yeah, I know I need some help? Because I mean, that was one step, but now step 2 is like, now we've got to actually pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it was like the fear piece. We didn't realize the fear piece was there initially until we had a chance to quickly step back and talk through everything, and we realized we were just getting overwhelmed with the sheer volume of decisions and a bunch of changes that were going to be happening from a brokerage change to hiring a couple of new individuals, moving into a new office space. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on top of the fact that we knew we were running things. There's a lot less structure in place than what should have been for the volume of business that we were doing. Mm-hmm. And now we had more people depending on us. So this was kind of our way to ensure that, we think we've got a good system and a good formula, but this will help formalize it and help provide that structure that can easily be repeated as people, come on board and join the party with us.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that we had been thinking about coaching for a long time. It is something that we had gone back and forth on for a long time, forever. Yeah. And you know what? It was actually Greg that always kind of wanted to go into coaching, and I was like, "No, you've got this. We're doing great. Like we don't need to be coached." But I think that's also the misconception is like you sign up for coaching because it's not always just because you want to grow the business or, we were growing the business, but sometimes, it's, you want to achieve balance. You want to enjoy your day-to-day more. You want to be supportive to your team members and you don't particularly know how to do that. So it wasn't, I think for me, it was always driven like, oh, it's just to grow the business, but we already are growing the business. So why do we need it?
Mhm.
But I think there's a whole other side of it that you need support in so many other ways. And like Greg said, we're not the expert in everything. And it was time to bring in someone to help us be less overwhelmed and big picture, take a look at how everything's like an outsider's view. Like, how is this actually running? We think it's great, but is it actually?
Right, absolutely though. But that's exactly what I meant by like the person in the mirror, right? Sometimes we look at it like, I got this. In the same way, Dareen, you're like, you got this. And I mean,
we don't need this.
and everybody telling yourselves that, like, seriously, I love the confidence. Right.
Yeah.
And we should be confident in that regard. Cause I mean, if you're not, that is your moment to be like, I really need help. If you don't believe in yourself, we got to get you there. Right.
Absolutely.
So the belief in yourself is absolutely imperative for sure. When we look at that, like you guys were achieving success already. Do you believe that people who are already achieving, like, coaching is for people that are already achieving success, or is it for people that, like, it could be anybody at any
That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Everybody.
I think Doreen's misconception originally was that it was only for people that were not achieving
Yes,
success.
that was my misconception. It's like, well, if we're not doing well, then we need to be coaching. But that's very untrue, I would say. It's you need it in, whether you're just starting out and you need someone to help you build a business, or you're struggling in a certain area, or you don't know how to build a team, or you've lost the balance in life. You're achieving success, but not happy.
From our perspective, that investment piece, it's a no-brainer, right? You look at how easy it is to spend money in life or in your business very easily without any sort of return.
Yeah.
The coaching piece for us was an investment that we should have started a long time ago.
Yeah. Rather than invest on those Instagram ads or that billboard, I'd say invest in
the swag.
Invest in yourself first to create.
That's an inside joke, everybody.
To create all the stuff and then do all the other things.
John Montgomery, gold medal winner back in the 2010 Olympics, was on the show. We had spoken at an event together, and I had him on the show a little while back. And it just reminded me, as you were just saying that, like, it's not just for people that are not having success. It's actually for people having success. And I said to him, I said, like, you're literally on television, like national TV. You've won gold medals. You've been touted as this, like, incredible, he was walking through the village with the mug, the pitcher of beer. And, like, people remember these things, right?
Right.
Do you still have a coach?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, but you've won all this stuff. Being a little bit facetious when I said it to him, right? But I'm like, well, you've won. He goes, no. You want to continue to get better. And even if you're, like, where you want to be, you got to also maintain.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was interesting because, again, national television, he's obviously hit a level of sort of celebrity, the gold medals, like he's done some cool stuff out there, right? And it doesn't necessarily revolve around all the money, but he's hit some cool levels, still believes in coaching. So when you guys realized that, what was your kind of next step in starting the search? And I guess what led you to call us at Mindshare?
We had, I'd done a couple of events over the last few years, and you were one of the speakers at one of the events, and it was a virtual event, and there was a few other coaches, I believe, as well. And we'd honestly, from a distance, I'd kind of been watching, and you were a no-brainer in terms of kind of fit for us personally. Listening to your approach and listening to the fact that there's a lot of, again, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of different options, but for us, it was a no-brainer that you were, localized to our climate in terms of real estate. It was a much more personal approach.
Yeah. Very genuine, I'd say.
Love the idea that the person that I'm calling is the person that's going to be, helping me out.
Yes.
Because that piece is something that's important to us, in our business. We often say to clients, one of the reasons that you're going to love working with us is because if it's me sitting here today, getting you on board, I'm going to be involved in this process until it's finished.
Yeah.
And that a lot of the industry has gone in a direction where that is not the case.
No.
And it becomes a lot less personal. So for me, it wasn't there wasn't really much of a discussion that needed to happen.
Yeah. And I think we just liked your method, the Mindshare, right? Just being, it's not a do this and you will get leads. It's not that, systematic and I'm just going to keep you accountable. How many calls did you make this week? Next week, try to make more calls. It's about mentally, Mindshare, sharing your vision, right? And being top of mind for people and attracting like-minded people to you, right?
But also the mental approach for you, David, was very, you're not trying to encourage our business to go in a direction that we don't want our business to go. And you're really pushing us to come up with the answers on what we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to achieve it. And then you can kind of help guide and provide some insight for us. So it's not like we have to jump into the mold that works for you, which was also really important for us. I had a specific way of tracking things.
Yeah.
It happened to differ from your way, and you managed to adopt. So it's okay. It works. We can still accomplish things together in a way that worked for our business. So I think that was big for us. Yeah.
You know what's really cool here and I'm like so awesome. It's so awesome to hear. We're talking again about your journey to number one, and we talked about client experience today as part of the conversation. And what you had just brought up about where the industry's going, or so much of the industry's gone that way, but I see a lot of the world, maybe you said the world going that way.
Right.
And I agree with that. Like the world is going that way where,
Yep.
Think about, and to everybody, right? Think about your service providers. And I'm talking like even for home.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a headache picking up the phone to call if you need anything, because the person that's probably picking up the call, although they're there and they have a job and they have a title, whatever, they really don't care because it's not their business.
Right.
Yeah.
The level of service has dropped off the face of the
Mm-hmm.
earth. And I think that's something that's really crucial here. Again, one of the big messages as a takeaway today in listening how you guys have really achieved that level of success. And gratefully, thankfully, what you find in working with us very much so is that there's a level of care,
Yeah.
Sure.
right? There's a level of service that is going to go above and beyond to make sure that we're delivering on what we say we want to deliver on.
Yes.
And I think for everybody, again, tuned in, is that's something that I want you to internalize about your business, right? Ask yourself how you're doing these things. Ask yourself how you're going out there and what kind of level of service are you really bringing to it? Or is this very transactional? Where let's go, one in, one out. Really, I don't care. I got things to do. I'm very busy. What can I do for you? Don't call me about the burgers or about the paint on the wall. Like what do you need?
And that's the beauty of the service piece, right? So if our service level has always been up here, and over time people are noticing a change in average service across the rest of the world, and we keep our service level up here, we're feeling that much better for our clients, and we're much more memorable than we would have been already. But you're right, service is really, really, it feels like it's slipping everywhere.
Yes.
Which is, I think, just more of an opportunity for us, for sure.
Yeah.
The calls that we do, the conversations.
When all the children are healthy, you mean?
Yeah, right. But I mean, in terms of like experience, in terms of action steps from the calls, the ongoing text line, like, just do you find like you've always got something to come away with? Like you've always got something to implement. There's always a line that's open to be able to be there, even beyond the phone calls.
Absolutely.
How would you like, how much you describe that experience to people about what they can expect? And I want everybody to understand, we haven't scripted any of this with these guys.
No.
Like these guys could totally throw me for like a deer in the headlights right now
Like
and tell you all that I suck, and we are live. I just want you all to know this.
Yeah, well, that's why we're taking a minute to think, because we're also like on the spot. Like, okay, let me think to actually our calls. And I would say yes, it's actually quite funny, because sometimes like we get on the call and I'm like, I say to Greg, I'm like, I don't really have anything to say to David today. Like, you know what? Maybe you should do this call on your own. I don't really, And then we get on the call and I'm like, yeah. We do have to do that. And I'm going to write this down. And then we leave the call and I'm like, that was the best. And Greg's like, you didn't even want to get on the call today because you didn't even think, like, you thought, because between, we're doing it together. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, well, this doesn't really apply to me. This is more sales. I'm more marketing, or, and I, sometimes you don't feel like it. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things about coaching, and one of the most important things is there's someone there that when you don't feel like it is maybe going to change your mind about how you feel about it.
For sure.
So that's, I think,
it's a nice reminder.
Yeah.
The ability to communicate with you is could not be simpler, which is obviously really nice. Just to be able to reach out if something comes up, or there's a win or a loss during the week, or there's something that I'm wanting, another opinion on. The text message line is super helpful, but also when we're talking to you, it doesn't feel like it's like it's not. Yes, it's a structured, scheduled process, but it's not. It's very personal,
it's an easy
which is
conversation.
important for us. Super easy. We're often looking and saying, there goes the time, but we're still here. We are still going. Yeah.
That is awesome. So what would you say to anybody who is on the fence about hiring a coach? And I think if I said to you, like, why work with us in Mindshare, I think you've just described a lot of that, but maybe some of that advice to somebody who's going, I'm at the top of my year. I really I've been thinking about it. I haven't pulled the trigger, and they're looking for that thing to kind of push them over the edge to go, okay, you know what? That's it. Like I'm finally doing this today. Like, why should they go ahead and do that? And why should they call us?
Yeah, we were a real estate team that was amongst the top, 1% for our, board wide in our marketplace. And I was a top 10 agent for all of Royal LePage nationally when I was with Royal LePage. Under 35, like we had a great business. We had an amazing thing going.
We still do. Greg's talking in past tense.
And I was about to do the correction too, Dareen. I'm glad you did. Like, you guys still are.
Yeah. But this was all even prior to jumping on board with you, is what I'm saying. And my biggest regret is waiting as long as we did.
Yeah.
Because it's that whole timeline would have been accelerated, and the ability to get all those answers without having to spend the energy and the time to search for them personally and draw from your experience, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For anyone that's kind of on that fence, look at how quickly and easily you can spend money or waste money in a certain area. Consider this an investment, and I think it's all Dareen's fault that we waited as long as we waited.
Honestly, yeah, because I was the one that literally was like, no. I was like, you can be a coach. You don't need a coach. Everybody needs a support system.
Absolutely.
And in this business can be lonely. If you're not part of a team, especially if you're an agent on your own, it's very lonely. You're working by yourself all the time.
With everything being as electronic as it is now, you're not seeing people in the offices regularly.
And you think you know all the things, and then you talk to a coach and you're like, okay, I know some things, I don't know all things. And in like that open line of communication, being able to text with an issue, or even sometimes just to vent because you have had a frustrating day with a client and you're like, well, I couldn't have done anything differently, but David, this is what happened. I just need to be validated on it's nice to have. It's and as
Absolutely.
Much as we all think we're motivated, we can do all these things on our own. Definitely, that coaching, having someone on your side, supporting you, cheering you on, and helping you achieve the next step is important for sure.
So I've got a question I'd like to ask everybody on this show. And okay, I'll just come out and ask, and you can both answer it. Day's over.
Yeah.
How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Oof.
Dareen will go first.
Oh, that's hard. I think if I know it's a successful day if we end the day on a happy note.
Yeah, fair.
We're smiling and we're liking what we're doing, and we feel like we've done something good or we've helped someone. And I think that's kind of the core of it all, feeling that you have helped someone else in that day. With whatever it is, real estate or not, and you've had a full day, And for me, I mean, it's extra special because I get to spend it with my husband every day. I think, as much as a lot of people say it's difficult to work with your spouse,
no.
I am so happy that part of the reason I left my previous job is, I was thinking to myself that I spend, 75% of my day with people I don't really respect and like, or, we have just, not the same views on life. And it was so refreshing to, switch and get into this crazy industry that's unpredictable and different every day, but to work with my, better half.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So from a we all have our to-do lists and like, checking off everything, and that feels nice. But ultimately, like Dareen said, if I end the day and I'm smiling, it's a win. Like it's the glass is always half full for me, and that will never change. So I always feel like the day's been a success regardless.
Very true.
Because the whole gratitude piece and looking around, it does not take me long to feel like we're blessed and fortunate to be where we're sitting. And so success wise, every day is a blessing like that too, because we also in our industry see that. You don't know how much time you get, so you might as well make the most of the time that you're given, for sure.
We are batting 213 out of 213 because not a single person answers with the word money when I ask that question.
Yeah.
Fair.
It comes right back to helping. And you guys, everybody can see now, and as you're tuned in or watching, listening, whatever, journey to number one, their big thing is about helping other people.
Yeah.
That is where success truly, truly comes from.
Yeah.
Final question, or maybe just throw it out there, is like any final words that you want to share with anybody that just might help them get out there and build more mind share, get more market share, just help them propel them for, the rest of 2023.
Yeah, be true to yourself. Know what you love doing and know what you don't like doing, and know that you can build a business around all the things that actually make you smile, and things you enjoy doing. We're living proof of that there's a lot of things that we could have done differently, and we chose to do what we enjoy, and the business kind of fell into place from there, for sure, for us.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Do what you enjoy doing, and that's really the best ways to achieve success and be happy in your success. You can achieve success, I think, in so many different ways, but if you're not enjoying the journey there or the way that you're doing it, you're going to maybe achieve that success, but are you going to be happy in that success? And
take the time to stop and smell the roses and
enjoy the
feel
process.
The gratitude of the wins.
Process.
Enjoy them. Don't live in the now. That piece, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not always about the next transaction.
Yeah.
You guys are absolutely amazing. It's been a very powerful message today. For anybody that might want to connect or maybe pick your brains or follow you on Insta or any of that, where can people reach out to both you, Greg, Dareen, the Kuchma team? Where can they find you?
Well, definitely our social media is there as an open line of communication, for sure. So at the Kuchma Team on Instagram or Facebook. You can also email us, Greg at the Kuchma Team, Dareen at the Kuchma Team. We're always honestly happy to share. This is, I think sharing is caring.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
I have young children. There is enough for everyone out there.
Absolutely.
And we love sharing. Anytime anyone has anything to ask us, we're happy to share.
Well, I thank you both incredibly for the time today and for sharing as much as you have today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both on the show. I think it was just an incredible message. And again, to everybody, if you tuned in late or didn't catch it all, go right back to the top. Tune in, listen to what Greg and Dareen were sharing today, and by all means, reach out to them.
Thanks, David.
Greg, Dareen, thank you both very much. We will talk to you both very shortly. Wow, what an episode. You are either watching us live, you were listening to this recording, maybe you are on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to take a moment to learn about our M3 retreat. Registration's closing soon. Spots are limited. Check it out. Okay. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual training, get in touch with us. We'll set up a free consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we will help you do just that. Also, don't forget to visit www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. We would love for you to take a quick moment, like right now. You don't even have to listen to the rest of what I'm going to tell you. Seriously, joking, not really. Check it out. Go to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. We would love a little bit of a review, a nice 5-star rating. It would just be super grateful. I would thank you in advance. Also, make sure to connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. And I want to thank very quickly here Gray Media, REM Magazine, and Kits Keep in Touch Systems for sponsoring today's episode. Be sure to visit our website to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.